In the heart of downtown Los Angeles, there's a building with a reputation darker than its faded facade, the Cecil Hotel. Over the decades, it's become a magnet for mystery, tragedy, and the unexplained. But one story stands out above the rest, the case of Elisa Lam. Elisa was a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, Canada. Bright, creative, and introspective, she loved fashion, writing, and connecting with people online. She also battled bipolar disorder and depression, struggles she sometimes documented on her blog with remarkable honesty. In January of 2013, Elisa set off on a solo journey along the west coast of the United States. It was meant to be a personal adventure, a break from school and daily stress. She kept in touch with her family throughout her trip, until the end of January, when suddenly the messages stopped. She had checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 26th. It wasn't her first stop on the trip, but it would be her last. She was originally placed in a shared room, but after just a couple of days, her roommates complained about her odd behavior, enough that the hotel staff moved her to a private room. Then, on January 31st, she vanished. Her parents, alarmed by the silence, contacted police. A search began, but Elisa was nowhere to be found. Flyers went up, investigators combed through the hotel, and guests were interviewed, all with no results. That is, until the police released one piece of surveillance footage. The now infamous elevator video. It was recorded on the day she disappeared. In the grainy black and white footage, Elisa steps into the elevator. She presses multiple buttons, seemingly all at once. She steps in and out of the elevator, peeks down the hallway, hides in the corner, waves her arms strangely. Her behavior is erratic, almost surreal. Then she walks away. The elevator doors remain open, as if something, or someone, is keeping them from closing. The video quickly went viral, sparking a tidal wave of speculation. People around the world tried to decode her gestures, her expressions, her timing. Some said she was hiding from someone. Others believed she was experiencing a mental health episode. A few thought something paranormal was at play. Theories spread like wildfire, and yet no one could say for sure what happened next. For weeks, there were no new leads. Then, on February 19th, nearly 3 weeks after she vanished, guests at the Cecil began complaining. The water from their taps was discolored. It tasted strange. It had low pressure. A maintenance worker climbed to the roof to check the hotel's water tanks. Inside one of them, he found Elisa's body. She was naked, her clothes floating nearby. The tank had a heavy lid, difficult to lift, and access to the rooftop was supposed to be restricted. There were locked doors, alarms, and security measures in place. How she got up there, and how she got into the tank, remains a chilling mystery. The autopsy ruled her death an accidental drowning. No drugs or alcohol were found in her system beyond her prescribed medication, and even those were present in lower than expected levels. There were no signs of physical trauma and no evidence of foul play. The coroner concluded that her mental illness likely played a key role in her death. But for many, the explanation didn't add up. Could she really have made it to the roof undetected? Could she have lifted the heavy tank lid by herself, climbed inside, and then closed it behind her, while experiencing a manic or psychotic episode? And if she couldn't, what or who helped her get there? The Cecil Hotel's long disturbing history only added fuel to the fire. Over the years, it had been home to suicides, murders, and even serial killers. The dark reputation of the building became part of Elisa's story and turned her case into a legend of the internet age. Conspiracy theories abounded. Some claimed she was targeted by someone at the hotel. Others believed she was a victim of something more sinister, a government experiment, a supernatural entity, a dark ritual. One theory even connected her death to a tuberculosis outbreak happening in Los Angeles at the time. A stretch, but the coincidence was eerie. The TB test being used was named the Lam Elisa. Years later, her case still echoes online, in documentaries, forums, podcasts, and YouTube videos like this one. Netflix's 2021 series about the Cecil Hotel brought her story back into the spotlight, but even that left more questions than answers. The truth is, we may never know exactly what happened to Elisa Lam. What we do know is this: she was a young woman with dreams, with struggles, with a voice that was lost far too soon. Her story is tragic, yes, but it also reveals how quick we are to speculate, how eager we are to explain the unexplainable, and how often the real answers are far more complicated than we want to admit. May Elisa Lam be remembered not just as a mystery, but as a person, a daughter, a writer, a traveler trying to find her way. If you found this story compelling, consider subscribing for more deep dives into unsolved mysteries, strange disappearances, and the darker corners of real life.